first thing that I want to remind you all of is this. So what you're gazing at are the energy flows that began in 2019. And you might say, well, Kira, why are you showing us this? What does this have to do about anything? It has to do with everything. Because in the essence, and I pray that you have gone to SriandKira.com and read the series of articles that have been recently posted since we have returned from Los Angeles, which is where all of this exploded into action. What I want you to notice here is, if you've been with us since this time or before, you've been on this ride. And if not, we're giving you the quick overview because this matters. 2019, go look at 2019, because this is when the I began. This is when we first got together, almost exactly a few years ago in that year, right? This all began in June 2019, and we were prepping for it in May. And so here we are again, right? Prepping for something that we have already done, that we have been able to speed up our capacity to live in multidimensional presence and experience the potentialities. And I want you to really take this in, because this is really important. You have arrived back where we have been with full conscious awareness of the experience. The universe is giving every single one that is ready to see the recognition that you have been surfing this potentiality in full recognition of your mastery presence. That time is the illusion itself. That aging is the illusion itself. That foul health is the illusion itself. That lack of vitality. At 60, you're just warming up. And by 80, your wisdom is so extraordinary, may we all bow. To honor the sacred circles again, we are doing tonight. And it began in 2019, and this is going to be really important in a moment when I show you what just opened today in the energy of this Mercury revelation. So you remember 2019 was what? It was the year of divine awareness and the energy of that lotus. We were coming up. Humanity was saying, all right, I get it, we're in the mud. But I also see the brilliant experience of the bud of the lotus growing. And if you look at 2019, you also see that 2019 was what? It was our last semblance of anything linear. Our last semblance of anything linear. But it was what, Sri? It was an arrow, right? Doesn't it look like an arrow?
Well, yeah, it was like we were still on the ascension escalator.
Right.
However, our experience of time and dimensionality would soon come forward in a new way.
And look at what, I really like looking at this almost as a Vesica Pisces. And you see right there at 2019, you see the combination there, the green lines right above where it says 2020, in creation as part of the core acceleration. In creation as part of the core acceleration. And Sri, what's the core?
The core center of resurrection energy.
So I want you to really breathe that in. We have now arrived at this moment again at the center of the resurrection energy. And I'm going to put that slide back up again in a moment very, very quickly, because what's important to remember, my loves, is that we have not touched this energy in this potentiality since 2019, yet we have collectively co-created this experience where the core itself is being revealed. And I know in that energy of every sign coming your way right now, I want to go back to that share screen. Here we are.
Let's see if it'll.
Okay. And as you are gazing at it, I want you to then look at 2020. Because in 2020, remember what happened was, you see how the arms are up? It was that first introduction to, at some point, those arms are going to go all the way up to become the chalice. And that's happening right now. And so in 2020, we were remembering how to command time, how to bring in our alchemical presence, how to let go of all of that, all of the habits and belief systems that are trying to make you believe that you are not that which is eternally abundant and ready to be, as you have always been. And so in 2020, it was the year of mastery experience. And remember that dragonfly essence? It was that year of the dragonfly. And you see that if you look at the dragonfly, if you look at the heart of the dragonfly, where the pyramid's right there, right? Imagine that dragonfly during that whole year was, I think I can, right? The whole time that dragonfly is carrying us and saying, look, I've got you, let go. And we did. And because of that, 2021 was the first time in this potentiality that we called forward the ignition of spiral time, and that we stepped outside and co-created concentric dimensionality, which ignited the field of the fully ignited I and brought in our ability to serve potentialities with conscious awareness in form in this field of creation. And I want you to really breathe that in, because we're doing that inside the discus of Vishnu, which ignited the 0 point energy field. So in 2022, the sea of neutrality came in, and our energy field was a beautiful ocean. So here's what happened. Because of what happened during this time, when we first ignited in 2019 into the core experience, the pyramid of spiritual awakening, and you see at the very top that light, you see that cone of white light coming out, that's the essence of the you becoming the chalice. Instead of, gathering, you come to that point, that moment where consciousness itself ignites within you, and you become the chalice in form, sustaining that field of light as the radiance for the all to discover again. And if you look at density consciousness down at the bottom, look at the radiation of that light. And what you see is that the greatest, if you were to kind of bring your eye back a little bit, the greatest center of that light is right up there in ascension awareness, moving us into the refined energy of ascension consciousness. And when this happened in 2019, when we first had this experience come forward, this is what happened. Remember this? This is the 0 point field of creation itself, in the energy of the reflection of that which is in this form known as the masculine and the feminine, in the ignition of the unified field. You see the explosion there of the energy, bringing in that Taurus field through steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust, thereby sustaining this framework of support. So in 2019, it was the first time that the Ascended Masters came forward and said, look, we're going to give you a roadmap, because what's coming is important. We're going to up level. We're going to offer this to you. And for those that are ready, it's going to be this beautiful moment of remembrance, because where that brought us to was here. Guys, remember the Ikigai? This was the 2019 Ikigai moment. And this is important to remember, because this is what birthed in June 2019. It was the first moment, if you look at that spiral, right? It was the first moment that the universe came in and said, we're opening the eye, we're opening the portal of potentiality in this specific field of conscious awareness in preparation for that which is preparing to be.
Ikigai can be worked with at many levels, and this can be a guide for those of you that are seeking to really come into alignment with your mission, your reason you took birth. And it's also a reminder that everything intersects, everything synergizes, that what our gifts are and what we do is, if it's in alignment with what the world needs, it's magnified. It's brought forward with inspiration. And so what do you love?
Yeah. Now, this is important to remember, because again, because here's the other thing that happened in 2019. And I want you to just really relax into this. This was the core awakening energy ignition. And if you just relax, this was a crop circle. And when this crop circle came forward, and some of you may remember that Sri and I were in this crop circle and had many things happen. But when this crop circle came forward in 2019, it was the ignition of the amplification of the capacity of this form of human experience to sustain and receive multidimensional consciousness outside of that which had been sustained before. So I want to stop right there and just kind of ask y'all to take a breath and to really feel into that and to notice what you're noticing, because what that remembrance just did was to assist you to expand beyond the boundaries or the fields of limitation of this one world identity. It was the cosmic influence that amplified the all. It was the connection with that of, it's a field of non-interference that has so much amplitude and so much energy when we allow ourselves to say yes to it. But in order to say yes to that energy, we have to lay down the jealousy, the greed, the competition, and to see the weaving, the dance, the gloriousness of this moment now. So that happened. We're going to go back. That all happened since that first release of the Ikigai. And on top of that, this just happened now. Let me share with you what you're looking at, because this is right now. This has been happening since Mercury Retrograde came in. So if you relax your eyes, I want to point a few things out. Remember, I was sharing with you about 2019 was the year of the lotus. You see down there, that pink lotus, you see that? All right, go to the left and you see what looks like almost a steady yellow stream of light coming in from the left, going right into what is now the center, and then coming out into that lotus. That was the energy of the portal of 2019 that opened the first energy of the eye. But what's happened since then is the alchemical transformative nature of your eternal self-presence has been called forward in this specific potentiality, because that eye has opened, and you see the evasive heartbeat, it's coming right out of the eye. So with the sustaining energy that has come forward since the 2019 Ikigai experience, the evasive heartbeat, sustaining that energy as this eternal presence has held through the sea of neutrality. And if you gaze right there and you see the joy portal, if you look at the pyramid of spiritual awakening, the joy portal ignited today. Today, in this experience, the first revelation, you're gazing at it, the first revelation of this Mercury retrograde extraordinary gift that we are all moving through. How much has already been revealed for you? How much have you already noticed about yourself? How much are you already seeing? How much is expanding and growing and igniting, right? And when we move from that, it brings us here. And I want to show you something. I think I might have mentioned to you earlier that it's been staring us in the face. I pray you've been to SriandKira.com and that you have read this profound sharing of the essence of unification, because right here, look familiar, is the Ikigai of now. And it's been staring at us. There it is. And this all came in LA. As the diamond portal opened, as the eye lifted to reveal itself, and the two see each other again, everything opens and the potentiality itself ignites. Oh my goodness gracious. I just finished this a few hours ago. This is now the Ikigai that you have called forward, that we as community have brought forward. It is the reignition. It is the 50,000-year Mercury retrograde revelation 1. It is the Ikigai ignition itself into alchemical transformation through the open eye of your divine nature. And I want you to just breathe that in, because it's where all of that explodes. You see the 4 points on each end holding the alchemicals, right? So those are all of the weavings of the alchemical transformation, holding those 4 seeds that I invited you earlier. Consider that those are all spinning. So consider that those 4 are moving right now. But it all begins with, what do you love? What do you love? right? Where is your passion? What is your mission? And then weaving that together. What are you really good at? Because that's what the universe is telling you. That's what the universe is showing you. And then how do you bring that into form? You do it through the gift, and you are, and this is why it's on here, global Minga itself is the recognition that we're doing it because it's just the right thing to do. It's the knowing of the limitless, abundant universe showering you in ways that are so outside of the mind that the core itself is coming forward.